get in your own head about it, like, like I'm not good enough. Like these guys aren't going to like me. I'm not going to be able to play. But it's about like being committed to the grind of it, and something that you really got to embrace.
Yeah. As Tyler was saying, it's kind of like an unfamiliar territory. You just got to like earn your spot kind of. For me, preseason was kind of hard, yes, but we got through it. I would recommend, just as I was saying earlier, just doing the stuff that they put in the packet, or just doing something every day will help when it comes to preseason, because as you can see, I'm not the biggest guy, but in the gym, it really killed me. But I'm telling you, like, I've gotten bigger over the course of the year, and it really shows that working a little bit every day or every week, like, it really shows like the improvement of not just your health, but just everything in general.
Fantastic, guys. So a lot of the questions I'm getting, people want to know, and I guess, I was going to give this time to you guys, give a little recap. They kind of want to know, go over a day in the life of Makel at getting ready for training and school and classes, and then Tyler doing the same.
Okay, so a typical day for me would be, so I'm not really a morning person, so I organize all my classes to be at, let's say, 10 or 11. So I would wake up and have my classes from 10 to 1 p.m. or 11 to 2. And then I would have practice at 3. So I would have a little bit of time after class to get a snack or eat a light lunch to get ready for training. And it's very important, especially in any college environment that you are, D1, D2, or D3, is to stretch before practice. That means going to practice 30 minutes early, or an hour early, really. All you need, like, roll out, make sure you're getting everything, because as we were talking about earlier, these guys are bigger than you. You're going to get hit harder. So it's really important to maintain your body and your health as well. But yeah, after class, I would go to the gym and just roll out and then get ready for training. At my school especially, it's special that we have like these core principles that we have to say every day. So just mentally getting ready for practice is a big step that you want to take as well. And then after practice, you would have time to eat dinner with your teammates or friends. And then the rest of the night is yours to either make a decision to do homework or whatever it may be. But use your time wisely, because it's very important in college.
Yeah, for sure. I had 2 classes a day, Monday through Friday, and then we had games Wednesday afternoon and Saturdays, and practice every day that we didn't have a game from 5 to 7. So it was class in the morning, then go to training, eat dinner, shower off, or we went to a locker room, shower off, go to dinner, and then really prioritize your time, because you're balancing tougher work, not necessarily as much class time, because right now in high school, like, you're spending 8 hours a day in class. So but more responsibility falls on you to manage your own time. So you gotta stay up to date with your work, get that done, prioritize that. Then you gotta take care of your body. You gotta perform at a high level, and then you gotta get sleep. And that's a big thing that a lot of people kind of fall back on, is like, oh, I can do my work at night. Like, I got training to focus on. Like, I'll kind of sacrifice sleep for doing work, but that, like, prioritize your time so that you're able to stay healthy through it all.
As much as I don't want to say this, my mom was correct. Freedom is not always the best thing, because freedom you think that you have all the time in the world, and then you're postponing your works, and like Tyler said, until last minute, and then you're like, oh crap, I have this due, and then you're stressing, and then you might play bad at practice because you're stressing about this assignment that you waited last minute for. So just make sure as Tyler was saying, making sure you're on top of things and doing your work when you have that time.
Yeah, I will say I almost found it easier to kind of balance my time when I was in season rather than outside of season, because you kind of have a set structure to your day anyway. So then anytime you have a break, like, you're doing your work. Whereas when you're not in season, it's easy to kind of slip out of that rhythm. So it as hard as it seems to balance, like, playing at a high level and doing your academics, it's easier than you might think. But still, like, you definitely have to focus on getting everything done.
So as you were talking about prioritizing and managing your time, was there a certain process or a certain way you went about doing it, making a list, normal routine type of thing? Tyler and Makel, either one?
Yeah, so a lot of the stuff is online now. So I would go and put down a list of my assignments online, check it off as I went by, kind of, high school things. It's simple, but it works. So then you kind of have a visualization of what you need to get done, what you need to get accomplished. And then like you can balance your time based off of that. So like if I had an assignment due, then like I could get that done. Like I knew the time when I was going to do that. I got it done. And then like I could have a certain amount of time to go to the trainer to get treatment and then go to practice. So it helps to see your schedule laid out visually. So then you don't have to kind of remember things because that's just extra strain.
Yeah, as Tyler was saying, I think it's very important to visualize things. So I kind of got a big calendar in my dorm room, and I hung it up and I printed out all my rubrics and all my assignment dates and put it on that calendar. So every day I would look at the calendar and see, oh, here's what's due. And then I will look at the time slots as where I had time to do certain things after school or practice, and I would fit in those assignments depending on how much time I had. So it's really important to visual things out, because when you look at your phone or you look at your computer, you're like, okay, I have this due next week. You're kind of gonna forget about it a bit. But if you see it every day, I feel like it's more helpful to see it, really.
One of the questions, we've talked a little bit about what it's been like to be in school. What are the things that you really enjoy about it? What are the things that you really like about being this athlete and spending this time and, obviously sacrificing maybe some personal time or social time? What is it that you really find rewarding about it?
Well, I mean, you almost feel like a professional. It's definitely a step up from the high school environment. You definitely have a lot more responsibility on you. But then it's also, I mean, it's the love of the game. It's playing for your school, representing yourself, your family. There's people from all over the country playing with you and against you. And then it's also kind of something that I really embraced was cementing my own spot. So I came in like nobody on the team really knew what I could bring to the table. So kind of making my own mark on the team was something I really enjoyed. And then, yeah, the extra responsibility, not having like parental figures there to walk you through everything, like making my own decisions, balancing my own time was something that I enjoyed.
Yeah. I think it's as much as I said earlier, I don't want to say freedom is the best thing, but freedom can be good as long as you handle it correctly and responsibly. But I enjoyed just a little bit of freedom, not hearing your mom nagging in your ear every day about, oh, do your homework, or oh, it's time to go to practice, hurry up, or just things like that. Being responsible on your own is a good thing. But also enjoyed like talking to friends or living with friends, I guess, instead of just your parents. It's a lot of responsibility, but it's worth it.
Excellent. Let's see here. A couple questions we got coming in. Makel, how many times do you guys train a week when you're in season?
In season, we train 5 times a week, or 4 times, sorry. 4 times a week. Let's say we train Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we'll be off on a Thursday, and then we'll train on a Friday. And then we'll have either a game Saturday or Sunday. But the training session on Friday would be like a light tactical session, just kind of analyzing our opponent and just more of a walking type of practice.
Yeah, I had training Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and then game Wednesday, Saturday. And then NCAA mandates you have one off day. So my off day would be Sunday.
You guys are mandated one day off.
Right.
Excellent. All right. One of the questions is, when you guys got to travel out of state, how do you travel? Tyler, you first?
It was all by bus. I didn't travel far enough to warrant an airplane. We thought we might in the NCAA tournament, but it was all by bus, even up to Boston, which was a 12-hour ride. Not fun, but yeah, bus.
Okay. 12
Yeah,
hour.
for us, same thing. Everything was bus. My school's in Indiana, and for preseason, we're lucky enough to go to Canada for preseason, and it was all bus. Just 8 hours on the bus, or it was probably more than 8 hours. And a rule at our school, freshmen, you have to share a seat. So with my long legs, I'm 6'3", is just not the best. But I mean, yeah, it was all bus.
It also depends on the budget for your program and like where you're traveling. So
Yeah.
obviously D1 schools with more money would fly to a lot of places that are more far away. But
Yeah.
Okay. Another question. Okay. We'll start with Tyler. How did you know what division you should play in?
so I kind of looked at it as, well, I went to a Northwestern camp during the recruiting process. I think that was early junior year. And the coach said, the camp was fine. The coach said, gathered us all in at the end and was like, yeah, we're going to go through all your social media. Like, you're not allowed to join a fraternity. Like, really, like, this is going to be your life here. And that's something that kind of turned me off to playing Division I soccer. Now, obviously, the opportunities there are extraordinary and the level is that much higher. But I thought of it as I didn't want soccer to be a job in college. I wanted to have my own social life. So that's kind of why I went D3. And then also, I like the smaller school. I like the social life, like where I chose. So yeah.
Okay. Okay.
For me, I always thought that I had the potential to play Division I soccer. So my mindset through my junior year is like, okay, I'm only going to focus on D1 and that's it, or else I'm not going to play in college. But really, as time went by, I kind of opened my eyes a bit and saw like the opportunities that you could get also in other divisions is not always about D1 because in Division II, for example, that's where I played Division II. You have international students coming from, let's say England, and they would play in academies like Stoke City Academy or Arsenal Academy. I played against many players that could go D1 or professional. It's really division doesn't really showcase like your skill level, I would say.
Yeah, I think that's a great point there, Makel. Many of the coaches, players, former players, there are D3 programs that run just like D1 programs as far as how committed they are to their soccer program. And there are D1 programs that are run to the level of some of the maybe lower side D3 programs. So I think it's more about what the fit is, and I think that's what you guys were sharing. I know as I tried to help you guys or guide you guys a little bit through the process, that was something that I always thought was really important: is don't get stuck on the actual division of the program. It's what does that program have to offer, and of course the school academically.
And just to brag just a little bit, our school beat Xavier, which is a D1 team, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, my school beat Liberty in preseason. Also
Yeah.
D1. Yeah.
There you go. And you guys were definitely D1 level players.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, let's see here. Did you go on any official visits during your recruiting process? If so, were they before or after you received an offer?
Yeah, so I only went on one official visit, and it was to Washington Lee, and it was March of my junior year. And on that visit, I received an offer. And like the offer isn't really, it's really hyped up. It's always like everyone kind of imagines like they're going to slide you a piece of paper and be like, we want you here, like sign. And it's nothing like that. It's really just like you have a spot on the team if you want to come here.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like vocal. So, yeah.
So I had two official visits. I went on one at the University of Cincinnati. I went there twice. And then my second one was at the University of Indianapolis, which is the school I go to now. He pretty much told me, it was kind of last minute, like I committed really late. He pretty much told me at National League, you have 1 week to make your decision. We're going to fly you in this week, and then the opportunity is yours to take or not to take. And then, like Tyler said, it was just an email as like, do you want to come to the school? You have a spot on the team. Yeah, pretty much.
When you guys went on your visit, did you meet the coach during the visit? How'd you know that? Did you know the team was a good fit? How did you know that?
Yeah, so I went and it was during the winter, so coaches weren't allowed to actually train with us, but the team held a captain's practice. So I went and watched that. I didn't participate because I don't want to be liable for any injuries, but I watched the team as kind of visual. Of course, I had seen the team play multiple times before that, so I kind of could see myself fitting in. And then you have a couple meeting with the coaches. Like you have a sit down with them at the beginning and at the end to kind of see where you are.
Yeah, I like Tyler. I've seen Cincinnati practice once, and then they had a game also the following day, and I saw them play. At UND, I also saw them practice as well, once or twice. I also saw the lifting experience. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay. Let's see here. One of the questions is a little tough for you guys to answer. So one of the questions is how's the difficulty level in the college games compared to ECNL games? Now, for all the people that are on here, so you guys know, these two guys actually did not play in the ECNL. They were actually part of my group that played in USYS. So we played in National League, and we played in regional competition and state cup and things like that. So kind of use National League in our course when we were playing in our top level and give a little comparison to the college versus the youth.
So for me, as I was saying earlier, these guys are 10 times bigger. I was always the tallest player on the field whenever we played when I was playing with McLean. And for example, this season I came up against a player who was 6'8". So yeah, it was quite the difference. But yeah, everyone's technical, everyone's fast, everyone's strong. Like everyone is as good as you, or if not better. So don't underestimate any of your opponents. Because I'm not gonna lie, and when I was in club, some teams would be, just because I saw their record, I was like, okay, these guys are not the greatest because look at their record. They can see these many goals, or they don't score these many goals, so I don't have to worry as much. But in college, everyone's on your level, or if not higher.
Yeah, pretty much every game in college is a dogfight. So, like Makel was saying, club, you can kind of get ahead of yourself or take games easy, take games light. In college, it's a war every time you're out there. And then it's also definitely more physical. So in club, it's more technical, like pass the ball around. In college, it's go put a body on someone, and get scrappy goals and all that. I would compare it more to high school games than club games, in a way that it's more long ball oriented. But there's definitely the more technical you can be with your team, the more advantage you have, the bigger advantage you have.
Excellent. Let's see here. One of the questions, did you talk to many coaches via phone call during your recruiting process?
For me, yeah, I did. I actually, like Tyler was saying earlier in this Zoom call, he had a list of colleges that he would write down. So basically, I would call every single one that I wrote down, or I could visualize myself being at that school, and I would talk to them, see how it's not as good as seeing them in person, because you can see like their personal traits and how they're reacting to what you're saying. But I would recommend talking to the coaches or the schools that you're interested in.
Yeah, and it all goes back to selling yourself. So it's not good enough to just sit there and let the coaches come to you. It's your responsibility to reach out to them. And then phone call is besides in person, is really the best way to be able to communicate with the coach, because then you're not waiting for emails. There's no delay. You're able to sit down there and like have a conversation with a coach. You hear his voice. He can hear your voice. And it's a way to elevate yourself on his list.
Yeah.
And then you can also ask questions. So, I had several questions that I wanted answered, and that's kind of the best way to get an immediate response.
Excellent. All right, we got a couple funny questions here. How many soccer fields does your school have there, Tyler?
We have 3 soccer fields. We had 1 game field and then 2 practice fields. We had 1 turf and 1 grass. So depending on where we were playing, that's the practice field we'd use. And our game field was grass.
Game field was grass. How about you, Makel?
We have 2. We have 1 game field and 1 practice field. Sometimes we have a dome as well. Sometimes if it's too cold, we might train in there, but it's just a little small turf area.
Bubble.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Do you need an NCAA account to get recruited by college coaches?
No.
No.
So all those like Captain U things, and they're saying, oh, you need like huddle and all that stuff. I kind of feel like that was a waste of money on my part. I didn't even use it. No college coaches contacted me on that stuff. Just from my personal experience. I don't think it's worth it. I think more of the, talking to them in person or reaching out to them personally is better than just showcasing yourself on a website where you have the potential of the coach not even looking at the website or being interested.
Yeah, you don't really need an NCAA account. I'll leave it at that.
All right. Another good question here. Did you go to any college ID camps before you graduated high school?
So yeah, I went to a couple. I went to a Northwestern one. I went to a PPA one here in Northern Virginia. I think that's it. I think I only went to 2. I didn't go to any W&O ones. They're not as important as you might think. It's a great way to get exposure to a coach. So if you see the coach there, that especially ones with a lot of coaches there, you can go and talk to them in person. But in terms of them seeing you play, it's I wouldn't say it's the most important thing. Getting to talk to them is the most valuable thing that you can get out of that.
What made you decide to attend the camp then?
It was junior year. Well, both of them were junior year, and there were coaches there that I wanted to talk to. So like I knew that. So I went to the Northwestern camp to actually talk to a coach from UChicago. So it wasn't like I was going there with my mindset being like, I want to go to Northwestern, only Northwestern. It was like, I want exposure to coaches and I want to be able to talk to this coach in person. Whereas normally I wouldn't be able to do that if he wasn't going to a game of mine.
Me personally, I didn't go to any ID camps. So as Tyler was saying, I'm at the place I am now without going there. So I don't think also like a good option to go to, but it's not necessary.
Okay. Just for my little history, while everyone's on here, my little history with camps, I kind of guide my players into the ones that where they are reaching out to you specifically and ask you to attend a camp. The coach, I think that's got more weight in the ones that are the ones that you get spam mails, and those things usually come from when we enter showcases. Your emails are now in the college coach's hands, and so they spam mail out their camps. But when they personally invite you, that's a different situation that maybe you are looking to attend that because it's a personal invite.
For sure. Yeah.
Let's see here. A few more questions here. Does your position on the field get taken into account by a college coach when deciding whether or not to recruit you?
Yeah, that's a great question because that's something that really affected me. It definitely gets taken into account because they're not, if they are looking for a definite forward, they're not going to necessarily look at you in the back. But I also there's a guy on my team who went to the ID camp as a goalkeeper and freshman coming in and played forward this year. They saw him at the camp. He played forward because they had too many goalkeepers, and then the coach really liked him. So fast guy, big guy, so he took him, and he played forward this year. And then I went into day one of preseason thinking that I was going to be a center defender, and then first day the coach said, "All right, like go with the midfielders," and I played the whole season at the 6. So they take into account your position, but more importantly, they take into account your skill set because being versatile on the field is the most important asset that you could have. And that really helps sell yourself. If the coach can ask you what position do you play and you say, I can play anything.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because before I got recruited, they weren't even coming to look at me. I kind of got recruited on accident. Our game was just very popular. Coach, if you remember when we played Galaxy at National League, and we had over like 70 coaches at our game. So they couldn't really miss out. But they recruited me as a center back, as Tyler was saying, and preseason they saw that my technique was good, and they put me in the 6 with the midfielders. Unlike Tyler, I don't think I did as well as him in the 6, so they put me back at center back, which was my normal position. But as Tyler was saying, as if you can be versatile and tell the coach like I'm open to play any position as long as I'm helping the team out, which is I feel like it's the most important thing to take out of it. Just be open to any options that the coaches give you. As long as you're getting playing time, I think that's a huge thing, especially as a freshman.
It's also why it's important in club not to limit yourself to one position, or not to tell your coach like this is my only position that I can play. Because anytime a coach is giving instruction to somebody that you think is outside your position, learning the positioning and the technique of any position on the field is very valuable to a college coach.
Awesome. Okay, let's see. How much does persistence matter with college coaches?
Persistence?
Mm-hmm.
It's everything.
Okay.
Like pelting them with emails. I remember one college coach telling me that, or I remember hearing one of them talk about like he wants to feel stalked by a player. The more that you can sell yourself to the school and tell the coach that this is someplace where you really want to be, like that helps him recruit you and helps like get you onto the top of the list, because coaches want people that are going to go, that really want to go to your school. They really want to go to their school.
Yeah, it's very important to keep in touch and always kind of like personalize emails and do it often. Like if you don't get a reply back once, don't get discouraged. Oh, he doesn't think I'm a good enough player, or maybe he just didn't see it. Maybe if you keep emailing him, he's like, oh, this guy, I keep seeing his name. Maybe I should really look into this player.
Yeah, and after games at tournaments, so I would send out the general email at the beginning of the tournament, and then after every game, I'd send an email to the list of schools that I know attended and said, like, thank you for coming. These are my next games. Like, what do you think? Like, all that. Yeah. So the more emails that you can send out to coaches, the higher percentage your response is going to be, and then also the higher that you will be on their list.
And I think in emails you should include your phone number, definitely your GPA and stuff, because it's playing soccer in college is not always about, as you know, it's not always soccer. It's also about you're a student athlete, not just an athlete. So just, putting some of your, thanks coach, putting your GPA in the email would be something that you might want to put in there. So.
Excellent. Okay, I got a couple players here asking some questions. What is your pregame routine?
That's a good one. So for me, I like my music loud. As anyone can tell you, Tyler has many videos of me sleeping with my music blasting in my ears. I like my music loud. So in our locker room, we have like these nice speakers. So I connect to the Bluetooth and just play music loud. Just imagine what I'm going to do in the field, or what tackle I'm going to make, or, just imagining what you're going to do in the game really helps me, at least.
Yeah, I like kind of staying to myself. I come in with music. Later in the season, I would go in for treatment about an hour and a half before game time, 30 minutes before we're supposed to be there, and then kind of go to the locker room, take my time getting ready, and then, like Makel said, visualize the game, kind of play the game over in your head, what you're going to do, what your responsibilities are.
Awesome. All right. We'll ask you, okay, how do you stay motivated?
That's a good one.
That's one of the questions we have here. One of my players, one of my current guys.
Not gonna lie, preseason will probably be the toughest time, because your coach.
Get out of here. I remember. No, go ahead.
Yeah. Like I even called Coach Allen. I was like, I don't know, like I'm really struggling, but just just keep in touch with people that you can trust and are good role models in your life. Like I call Coach Allen from time to time, and I know he's going to be there for me as a coach. And yeah, just keeping people in your life that will be there for you. Also, it sounds kind of cheesy, but I looked on YouTube for videos like motivational videos. Those really help me. Music, I like music a lot. That helps me a lot as well. And just kind of, I'm very spiritual, so just thanking God for, or asking God for, just thanking God for the day, or asking Him, please let me get through this, or just things like that.
Yeah, and then from a more soccer standpoint, I always wanted to prove myself to the older guys every single day. I wanted to solidify my spot there. I wanted to be a starter. Then I know, like, going into future years, I don't want any of the younger guys to take my spot. So that's definitely going to be like a motivating factor. And then also, I have goals to be all conference, all region, hopefully all American one day. So, that's definitely like in the back of my mind always.
Awesome. Good answers there, guys. It's a great question. All right. Let's see. A couple more. At what age would you say it was helpful to go to the showcase tournaments? When did the college scouts start looking for players? At what age were you guys?
I think I was a junior. Like I said, I started late. I think I was a junior where I started to see it play a toll in my life. Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, there's never a bad time to go to a showcase tournament because you're always getting exposure. The college coaches they start looking more intently on your team late sophomore, early junior year. And then throughout junior year is really when they start showing up, and really they pay more attention to your emails and show out more. It's probably around then.
It's funny that you say that, Tyler, because actually just now thinking about it, when I went on the visit to Cincinnati, one of the coaches was like, I asked him, like, when did you first see me? And he said, actually when you're around 15, so which is my freshman year when I was at Bethesda, and I didn't even know, like, really at any game, even when you're a freshman, sophomore, doesn't matter, at any game, even if it's not a showcase, there could be somebody watching you don't know. So take every game seriously, like it's going to be your last.
Well done. Just to build off that, I think you guys know when you guys played with me, I would mention you never know who's watching a game. There's always a story that a former Arsenal player who didn't have his career didn't quite pan out, but he still became a professional. He was scouted at a high school game in Japan and ended up at Arsenal. His name is Ryo. I can't even remember say his last name. But it goes to the fact that you just never know who's watching and when. When it comes to answering this specific question, the showcases, I think when you're a freshman and you're at the showcase, if you're in the top group, then yeah, they're going to come by and take a peek. So I think that's really important. And I think once you start playing in those showcases, and I think all the showcases actually start when you're 15 and up, just take every single one of them seriously because you just don't know who might be watching. That kind of goes in with one of the questions. If your team is constantly losing while still in high school, will that affect your chance of getting recruited by colleges?
That's a hard one. I don't think so, no. Because there was a point at McLean where we had a rough time. I mean, I think there was a time where we had a rough time. We were trying to figure out things. I'm pretty sure my first year in the beginning of the season where we were trying to figure out what formation we were going to play. We started out at 3 in the back and just things like that. But I don't think it's going to play a toll as long as you're working hard. A lot of coaches are looking for not the most talented player, but the hardest working player. So as long as you're working your butt off during the game and the coaches see that, that's what I think they're looking for.
Yeah, and be the best version of yourself. So it's not always necessarily whether you're getting wins, but if you're doing your best to help the team, and if you're staying positive, and like if you're doing your best, then coaches will take heed of that. And they definitely don't want to see, if you give up a goal or if your team is losing, like don't shout at your teammates, don't turn on your team, because then a coach will write you off his list. And I've heard plenty of times like where it could be an incredibly talented player, and he could be on a really good team winning all the time. And if you give up a goal and he turns on his team, yells at his team, it's immediate cross off. So if your team's not winning, play to the best of your ability, be a leader on the field.
Yeah.
Elevate your team as best you can, and that's all you can do.
For sure.
Or coaches will like that.
Yeah. Communication on the field and encouragement is a real big thing in college. Especially they like the loudest player on the field, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Good answer, boys. All right, we'll do one last question. I'm not sure. Well, let's see if you guys can answer. Do you know of anyone who had a positive walk-on experience from your past year, or that you know of friends-wise that are in a different school?
Yeah, so I have a couple on my team who walked on and are starting caliber players. And then I also have one guy on my team who had a friend who went to UVA, and he's not the most talented guy, not the most skilled guy, but he was able to walk on the UVA squad, and actually just got news recently that he'd be playing with them before quarantine, obviously. But yeah, if you work hard, if you put your mind to it, then you can accomplish it.
Me, I haven't heard or any of my friends been walked on, so I don't really have a say in this question.
Awesome. Okay, let's see. Maybe we got time for one more.
Coach Jamil was a successful walker.
Yeah, Coach Jamil was definitely about as, and I plan to have him on one of our series as well. Okay, so our last question. We'll make it. Okay. Oh boy, who is your favorite player and why? Tyler, you first.
Man. Well, Makel, do you have one?
I have.
Do you have one in mind?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna go off. So I'm gonna say my favorite team and favorite player.
No.
Favorite player, Pogba, because I don't know. We just have I don't know. I like his style and the way he carries himself. Like his hairstyles. I don't know. I don't know. Just the way he carries himself. I just like that a lot. When he celebrates, like it's always a special one to him that characterizes him. He's just very outgoing and doesn't really care what other people think about him. He's just going to do him and be himself. The reason why I like Chelsea is Didier Drogba. If you guys know him, you should, because he's one of the best strikers to ever even play the game. But yeah, when back in my striker days when I was at Bethesda, when I was a bit younger, people used to call me Drogba because I always used to score headers and yeah, I was a beast at striker. So I always loved playing striker back at McLean when we do box game. But yeah, that's the real reason why I like Chelsea. Didier Drogba.
Tyler?
Man, I've been through phases of favorite players because my position's kind of switched. Like I used to try to emulate Marcelo as best I could when I was playing outside back. Then I really liked watching PK at center back, and now that I'm more of a 6, I like Sergio Busquets and N'Golo Kante. I think those two are my favorite players, just because they're not the most skilled guys, but they have a calmness to their game that I really enjoy. That's having my game.
That's fantastic. Fantastic. Well, I want to thank my two panelists here, Tyler and Makel. Honestly, it was a joy working with these two young men to see them move on to the next level. Coach Jamil had a big part of Tyler's development, so I definitely don't want to take all of the credit. Makel was with a different club before. Your parents deserve a big credit on how they raised you guys, and all the people out there watching, don't forget that your parents are your biggest cheerleaders, and listening to them, and even when they're telling you something you don't want to hear, it's probably for better for you, not because they want to say it. But you know, being humble and being respectful, and I think you guys have done that over these past years that you worked with me. And you know, I look forward to keep watching you and growing. I want to thank everyone that has been part of the attendee or participants. We will plan to do another one of the college experience, maybe in a week and a half or so. I will look to have some college coaches maybe join us, and former pro players and coaching staff and etc. But again, thank you everyone for taking the time, and I hope everyone has a safe and healthy rest of the week.
Hey, one more thing I would like to say, because
Sure.
we didn't emphasize this enough. School is the most important thing about the recruiting process. So as much as you don't want to hear it, that's the most attractive thing to a coach, is seeing your GPA. And that's something that I almost took for granted. But on any recruiting brochure, if you have a 4.0 GPA, coach is automatically, putting you on their list. So stay very focused, especially during this time.
Yeah, to add on to that, people say that junior year and the SAT is probably your most important year. But for me, I know a lot of the colleges that I was looking at, they didn't really see me fitting into their program because of my mistake that I made my freshman year and my sophomore year. So really, even in your freshman and sophomore year, even your grades count then. Don't just wait until like your later high school life to start getting getting on track and making sure your grades are up to par.
I appreciate that. That's definitely, thank you guys for bringing that up. There are some younger guys that are watching, so that's very important, and that's a great point. So I appreciate it.
Yep. But thank you for having us on.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you guys. Thank you everyone. They'll be out on the field in the summer training. Trust me. Thank you everyone for joining. Look forward to catching up at the field soon.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
See you.